Oh, hey guys! You know, it's been kind of a while since I've read any manga, so I was thinking recently, why not do a series where I take a look at the first volume to see if I'm interested in it or not. So starting off, let's take a look at Monster Musume, which, if you're like this guy right here, you've probably heard about recently due to its whole plot premise. Monster Girl Harem. I don't know what that says about me, though.
So it's just a normal, everyday morning for Kimihito, with the alarm waking you just a little too soon. Or, maybe at the right time as you have a, sexy girl in your bed who happens to be part snake and she has herself tightly coiled around you, unintentionally squeezing you to death. I mean, understand, she's cold-blooded, and she needs to be curled up to you to keep warm, but hey, when you're about to die, you gotta do something about that situation, which is to unintentionally, or maybe it is intentional, to give her an orgasm.
Oh, Monster Musume, I know that you're a harem manga, so I should expect fan service, perverted scenes, and to see boobs, but I mean, we're like 10 pages into the first episode, and we've already reached the climax.
Truthfully though, for a moment, I thought they might try to circumnavigate the usual trope by actually already having these two in a relationship, and all the girls that come in are hoping to break them up because they fall in love with Kimihito. I mean, they're already in bed together at the beginning. Mia, the snake girl, calls him darling and obviously wants to do him from her interactions, and I'm pretty sure he wants to do her as well. And also, they're already living together. Granted, that's because of the whole cultural exchange program, so all of this awkward restraint from sex could be explained by the fact that there's an interspecies cultural exchange accord, with one of the things about it being that no sexy times will happen. Of course, that doesn't mean they can't be in a relationship. A relationship doesn't have to involve sex, but no, or Lee just falls into the usual not willing to commit to one girl or the other type of trope. I mean, sure, he'll stand up to her and beat up some speciest or species racist, so why doesn't he go out with her?
Granted, one really could say that about most mangas involving romance, also other medias as well. They want you to keep coming back for the will they, won't they aspect of that romance, but when it seems like they like each other from the very beginning, it seems like an interesting way to show off aspects of being in a relationship, trying to make the person happy, resisting the temptations of other alluring women, or not. But you know, I guess that would just be way too boring. Also, give me this back, Prinnies. Jeez.
Soon enough, the second girl is introduced. Poppy, the harpy, who happens to sweep Kimihito away. She literally is described as being a bird brain, forgetting simple things, not fully understand the language, and taking baths in the fountain in the park. Why? Also, she doesn't have fingers to really gripping things, so she's sorta out of luck in that department, which leads to this. I mean, come on! Do you really have to hold that popsicle so close to your crotch, Kimihito? You should know it would look wrong. Then in the next chapter, we're introduced to the final girl, at least for this volume. It is Centauria, who's a centaur, a proud and noble beast who must find her master, or in this case, her host family. Find as in running at full speed at an intersection and probably trampling all over them, all because of her knowledge involving tropes in mangas and animes where a girl runs full speed into an intersection, bumps into someone, and then begins the tale of love. But of course, it doesn't really work on Kimihito. If only she had toast. However, her reason for being here also pertains to purse snatchers, who happen to drive by exactly at this time. What a coincidence! Which of course this leads to a chase and Kimihito having to ride her. Get your head out of the gutter, people. Or it's kind of more like having to hang on to her due to her speed. This of course eventually leads to the hilarity of him eventually ripping her shirt off. In the end, they stop the purse snatcher, and then Kimihito learns that if someone is allowed to ride a centaur, they are the lifelong masters to that centaur. So it's kinda like marriage. Well then. By the end of the volume, all three girls have begun fighting to determine who will be Kimihito's love interest, which ends up causing Kimihito to be accidentally trained by their coordinator, Miss Smith, which by comparison is probably the least bad thing that has happened to him during this entire volume. But of course, everything doesn't have to end on a sour note. Turns out there's some thoughts on changing the rules, that whole interspecies cultural exchange accord that I told you not that much about at the very beginning of this. And they need a test subject, which Miss Smith, being the type of A personality that she is, has no problem volunteering Kimihito for without any type of permission or anything from him. So he's informed that he has to figure out which of the three girls living with him that he wants to marry, which sets the plot for the rest of the series. The girls trying to be the one he chooses, and Kimihito trying to make a choice or delaying it as long as he can. I mean, this is a harem manga after all. But, I mean, with that said, who are we kidding? It's going to be Mia, because that's how these things work. And if they actually change that, I will be kind of impressed.
So, Monster Musume, so far I have to say it seems to be an average harem manga, except it has monster girls. Granted, maybe I was a little bit too hopeful going into this, hoping they would change up the formula more than just the girls are not humans. So, if you're not really into these type of mangas, or you're tired of the same-o, probably not gonna really change all that much for you. Unless you're really into these monster girls, then maybe it'll change for you, but I really can't say. As for the rest of you that are interested in these type of mangas, or at least are alright with it, it definitely is not bad. I did find it interesting and fun to read, but at the same time, in my opinion, doesn't change up the formula all that much. Granted, at the same time, just the first volume, so maybe it's a little bit more about introducing the characters and themes at the moment than anything else. As for me personally, is this going to be my only volume from Monster Musume, or am I going to continue reading it? Well, so far, I'm going to say I'm going to continue reading through the series. Granted, as I said, some of the tropes are very apparent, and at times I kind of knew what to expect because of how these harem stuff works out, but at the same time, I had fun and enjoyed it while I was reading it, and I really couldn't stop reading it, even though it was kind of cliched at points. So, kept me entertained well enough, or maybe I'm just into monster girls. Don't judge me. But yeah, if the idea for this, a monster girl harem, seems interesting to you as well as it did for me, then maybe consider checking out the first volume, or if you have Crunchyroll, the anime is now playing over there. So that's another way for you to watch it and kind of figure out if you're interested in the series or not. So, with that guys, thank you for watching our very first manga impression here at Level Down Reviews. If you happen to have read Monster Musume, please feel free to post your thoughts down below on if you liked the series, did you not like the series, was it kind of meh? Don't spoil anything for us, because some of us are new to the series, so don't ruin the fun for the rest of us. Unless you didn't like it, then I guess it wasn't all that fun for you. Also, while you're down there, please feel free to suggest other mangas that you think that maybe I should check out and read down the road, and maybe even do a video on. And also, if you have not yet and you like this video, please hit the subscribe button and all the like stuff. You know, everything that everybody tells you about. Also, we're on the Instagrams and Twitters. You can check us out there. Links down below that you can clicky. But anyways, next time we'll be... Oh God, it can't be.